I'm Rabbi Rachel Nussbaum, the Executive Director of Kavana.
I'm Suzi LeVine. I'm the former ambassador to Switzerland and Liechtenstein.
Hi, I'm Sue Bird, point guard for the Seattle Storm and Team USA, and I am an agent of change.
And I am an agent of change.
And I'm an agent of change.
Hi, I'm Jeff Schwager, curator of the Washington State Jewish Historical Society's 50th anniversary exhibit, Agents of Change, 20 Remarkable Jewish Women of Washington State. I've had the chance to sit down and hear stories from some of the most extraordinary leaders in our world today. They are artists and activists, philanthropists, politicians, entertainers, women who offer a profound understanding of community, perseverance, and what it means to be an agent of change. Our exhibit is the brainchild of Lisa Kranseler, Executive Director of the Washington State Jewish Historical Society.
In the 13 years that I've been here as Executive Director, I have found that women in general have been underrepresented in our historical exhibits. Why I chose the theme Agents of Change for this particular women's exhibit is because we started to think how we could really embrace the concept of women who are doing things today. And we have long thought about women who have been in our history books, but we wanted to bring new people into the conversation about women.
Choosing just 20 representatives of all the Jewish women making change in Washington State was a formidable task for Lisa and her selection committee. But while the honorees that were chosen cover a wide variety of fields and ages, a common theme was present in each of the conversations I had: the exploration of how we relate to our place in the world. It's one of the oldest themes for Jews throughout our history, both in Israel and the diaspora. This is certainly true for the Jews of Washington State, who are literally halfway around the world from the birthplace of Judaism. And even more so for Jews living in Seattle, without the deep-rooted Jewish traditions of cities like New York and Los Angeles. That lack of tradition and the eternal search for a place to fit in is one of the things that led future U.S. Ambassador to Switzerland and Liechtenstein, Suzi LeVine, to start a new type of Jewish community with Rabbi Rachel Nussbaum. They called it Kavana, which is the Hebrew word for intention.
When I started Kavana, and to be clear, there's not a when I started, it's a when we started Kavana. What I was looking for was, I wanted a Judaism that was more about how do you become a producer as opposed to just a consumer of the community. When I think about my camping experience growing up, I went to a Habonim camp, which is more run like a kibbutz. You get up and you do avodah, you do work. And so I wanted a community that was like that, where it isn't just a 3-day-a-year Jew kind of thing. Mm-hmm. There's a wonderful place for that, but it wasn't what I was looking for. I also wanted something where I could really define it myself and that other people could define it themselves. When I would get together with friends and colleagues and we would describe what we were interested in, there was some Venn diagram where things crossed over, but then there's also areas that were different. So how to create a very flexible model that could be very personalized. And last but not least, I knew that I could design something for me, but how do I design something that everybody can design it for themselves moving forward, that would have the agility to evolve over time depending on the community that was really driving it. And so those were some of the core factors that I was looking for, along with religious flexibility. I keep kosher. My husband, not so much. We keep kosher in our home together, but that's one aspect. There are some people for whom study is very important, other people for whom services are important, other people for whom they find their connection through nature. How do you give people many different ways to plug in? And those were some of the key characteristics.
Mm-hmm. I think there's one you're forgetting that was also really important at the beginning.
That's right. That's right.
We were talking about the sense of extended family that people were looking for, and the fact that so many of the young Jews in the Seattle Jewish community had actually been born someplace else, had come to live here, and didn't have family around. So when holidays would roll around, they were like looking for that place. Like, how can I plug in? Who's my community here? So we talked a lot at the beginning about creating a community away from your community of origin, like a family away from family, home away from home. How do you create that sense? And what you were just talking about in terms of that deep sense of like sinking in, working on behalf of a community, those are the ways that you build the deep relationships that become the fabric of people's lives.
Yeah.
So that's what we were trying to do, was like play with the model of synagogue, play with the model of community, and build something that would actually have legs.
Yeah. And then along those same lines with kids and family, we wanted some place where the kids didn't get shushed.
Yeah, that was really important, that this community be open to everybody and really flexible, and a place where you could show up if you were single and not feel like you had to be partnered, and a place where you could show up if you had kids and not feel like you had to be shushed. Sort of any part of the life stage.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So open to everyone but the shushers.
Shushers need not apply.
That's right. Pluralistic and tolerant of everyone but the intolerant.
Sometimes being an agent of change means being in the right place at the right time. That was certainly the case for Sue Bird, an East Coast girl who led the Yukon Huskies women to a 114-4 record from 1998 to 2002. As it happened, the Seattle Storm had the number 1 pick in the 2002 WNBA draft.
With the first pick of the 2002 WNBA draft, the Seattle Storm select Sue Bird from the University of Connecticut.
Is there any chance now that once this draft is complete, you would still consider trading Sue?
No. Absolutely not.
In 2002, Sue led the Storm to their first WNBA playoff appearance, and 2 years later to their first WNBA title. That same year, she won the first of her 4 Olympic gold medals for Team USA. As one of the league's all-time greats, Sue Bird has been a true agent of change in the WNBA, while also recognizing that the league she has grown up with still has a ways to go.
You know, we're still trying to get our footing and figure things out from a business standpoint, but we have the product. I mean, I've been in the league now for like 17 years, and it's amazing, you know, where we are now and what we've done. But it would be nice to have people put, not the literal money, but it's just a saying, their money where their mouth is, you know? It's everyone's talking about women, and right now, obviously, for many reasons, women are being, in a good way, pushed to the forefront and acknowledged and supported. But we need the actual investment to be there. That's what I would like to see change.
Off the court, Sue made another big change last year, coming out and talking openly about her relationship with girlfriend Megan Rapinoe, a fellow Olympic gold medalist and player for the Seattle Reign of the National Women's Soccer League. Right,
yeah. So it's interesting because before coming out, you know, my girlfriend and I, Megan, would talk about that topic of coming out all the time. And something I never really realized, because in my mind, there was no need to come out. You know, I kind of I felt like, oh, my family knows, all my friends know, anyone who knows me knows, so what's the difference? Like, I'm not doing anything to hide it, so why do you have to come out, you know? And she kind of showed me the other side of that, which was because it's just not like the norm and in casual conversation. The same way, I mean, I hate to use the example, but the same way maybe like a straight couple, they don't have to like announce that they're together, you know? So because gay couples aren't there yet, it actually does matter. And you do have to say it, and you do have to show yourself in that way for not just younger generations actually, but that's definitely, you know, where the focus can go, you know, to show people and to be a role model in that way as well, and that it is important. And that kind of was like, okay, that, you know, that kind of got me thinking in that way. So while I don't necessarily target different groups in terms of my, you know, ability to be a role model, I definitely acknowledge that coming out has given a lot of people like a different look, and given a lot of people maybe a little girl, a little boy confidence to be who they are, you know, to see that, you know, somebody in my position, you know, has the guts, if you will, to say it. So there's something, there was like a nice little byproduct of sharing my story that I hadn't necessarily thought about. So yeah, I think it's just about people living their truth. That's pretty much it.
My baby loves me, I'm so happy. Happy makes me a morning girl.
That's Carrie Brownstein, co-founder of the legendary Riot Girl band Sleater-Kinney, which got its start at Evergreen College in Olympia. She's also co-creator of the long-running IFC sketch show Portlandia. For Carrie, change has been at the heart of her work since the early days of Sleater-Kinney.
I think personal transformation via art and creativity is often the initial goal, especially when you're young. But I think especially with a medium like music, and playing in a band and being part of a music community, you quickly realize that it's not an individual experience, that it's a collective experience. And once you're looking at things collectivism or community, then I think your goals for wanting to change things start to exist outside of your own self. Then I think, it became about young women or people who felt marginalized to see themselves and hear themselves reflected in our songs, and to be part of a centering of narratives that had theretofore been sidelined.
After a decade on the road with Sleater-Kinney, Carrie felt ready for a change of her own. She had moved south to Portland, and when the band decided to go on hiatus, her work shifted away from Sleater-Kinney's darker tones to the lighter, more satirical work she explored on Portlandia, which she co-created with Saturday Night Live alum Fred Armisen.
And I'm Lisa Eversman.
Have you ever been invited to something you don't want to go to?
But you made the commitment anyway because you felt obligated.
What you do is you wait till the very last second and then you
cancel it.
Events like your boss's barbecue. Cancel it.
Your niece's birthday. Cancel it.
But while an outsider might see a world of difference between the youthful disaffection of Sleater-Kinney and the lighthearted satire of Portlandia, Carrie sees similar themes running through her work.
I think with Portlandia, it was in essence the same thing. It was about examining people's relationship to community and to place. And I think a lot of Sleater-Kinney, maybe not literal place, but it was a lot of questioning and trying to comprehend a relationship to maybe a metaphysical place or a, sort of figurative place in the world. And with Portlandia, it was more specific, how do we interact with our friends or with our neighbors or with the city. And Portland became a stand-in for many places and spaces.
If you want to know more about any of these or the other remarkable women we're honoring in our 50th anniversary exhibit, Agents of Change, please check out the website for the Washington State Jewish Historical Society, www.wsjhs.org. But as this exhibit is about the remarkable Jewish women of Washington State, we'll give the final word to our own agent of change, Executive Director Lisa Kranseler.
As the Executive Director of the Washington State Jewish Historical Society, it's very important to me to be a continual agent of change. I feel that we have so much to accomplish. Not a day goes by where I don't think about the continual amount of work that we could be doing and we should be doing in this community. We're just one small organization, but through connections and collaborations with many other both ethnic organizations as well as the heritage community, we have been able to make great strides in building awareness for our Jewish history, the importance of our ethnic inclusion, and I think that it's truly important to be the most inclusive for a Jewish organization. We are non-denominational in every way, and we have an incredible amount of work that we have accomplished, but we have so much more that we can be doing within the greater community. I'm Lisa Kranseler, and I am an agent of change.
I am an agent of change.
And I am an agent of change.
And I'm an agent of change.